Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, the reality of successful business owners, part one in our series on tax-efficient retirement planning for business owners with nationally recognized author, speaker, and retirement authority, Peter Hibbard. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Steve.
I just want to talk to everybody right now. You have 3 books out. The Red Zone of Retirement. I'm sure there's a football analogy there.
There is. Yeah.
And I'm looking at the successful book. Hey, Brian Tracy.
Yes.
Wow, you're playing with the big guys, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
And also, you have Jack Canfield, The Road to Success.
You're right.
These are 3 books. How long have these books been out?
They just came out last summer,
And
early in the summer.
On Amazon.com?
The Tracy and the Canfield book on Amazon.
Both on Amazon.com.
The Red Zone is not. That's just
Okay.
a private book we give to business owners.
But we could is it on your website?
Yes, it's
Okay,
available.
so, and go ahead and just state your website if you know it.
www.columbiabenefits.com is the website.
Okay, excellent. All 3 books. Now, the Red Zone, it sounds kind of dangerous. This is the scoring area of football.
Right.
Do you use that analogy? Because people say that there's a danger zone. What? So many years either side of retirement date.
Yeah, that's where that comes from. The danger zone, or the football analogy. The 5 years and the 10 years after retirement, as far as I'm concerned, contain the most risk, because that's the area in which, if you have significant losses in your portfolio, could completely derail your retirement plans. And so we teach employees and employers how to manage that red zone for the employees who are beginning to approach that zone.
Peter, when you talk about, this was surprising, I heard you speak about this, you said that business owners are insecure about their companies. It's so funny because I think most people are successful, they have good balance sheets. Why are they so insecure?
Yeah. Now, I've been at this for 46 years actually now. I started in 1971. And I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever met a business owner who hasn't had some sort of paranoia about continuing this success. And very few of them are really prepared for retirement. They're so busy running a successful business, managing family obligations, but that they just don't put a lot of time into the retirement planning aspects or the exit planning opportunities ahead of them with regard to getting out of their business in some form or fashion.
Now, our most affluent business owners, are they ready for retirement then? Is that what you're suggesting? Maybe they're not?
I don't think I think very few are well prepared for retirement. And part of the reason is this slide that you see here. At the very bottom, you see when our tax code first came into being in 1913 and another one in 1923, it only ran about 800 pages. Now look at how many pages we have in the tax code. And this is only through 2010. We have almost 80,000 pages of tax code and regulations designed to do one thing: extract money from you and me and our clients.
Okay, so now we're talking about changing the tax code right now. I mean, they're talking about it, even maybe before the end of 2017.
Yeah.
How complicated for a regular business owner is 70,000 to 80,000 pages of IRS code?
It's almost impossible. It really is. Which is why I've put these pictures here, because our job, if you've got a great financial advisor who knows their way through that tax code, our job is to dig these gold nuggets out of the tax code.
Now, when you talk about tax code, there's a lot of unknowns out there that you have discovered over your 45 plus years in the business.
Yeah, right.
So you've discovered some of these nuggets, as you call them.
Right, they're nuggets, gold nuggets. They're in the tax code, designed to help our clients, our business owners and their key employees retain more of their money for either their security, their family security, and or charity. And so we built this climbing the mountain of tax efficiency. Now, the analogy that I use with clients is a Mount Everest analogy. Mount Everest is almost 30,000 feet high, so next time you're flying an airplane, you look out the window at 30,000 feet, you can see how high it is. There's been maybe 5,000 people who have summited Mount Everest. About 500 and some have died, but almost none of them have died on the ascent. They have died on the descent. In fact, there's still over 300 bodies still on Mount Everest that they can't get off. They're frozen, they weigh too much, you can't get a helicopter up there. And so the analogy is that retirement planning it's kind of easy to climb the mountain of retirement, but the risk is in your retirement years, will you have the money last longer than you last? And these 5 steps with 15 different gold nuggets are what we use with clients to help them retain more of their wealth in a legitimate and a legal manner.
Now, going back to the red zone, you said 5 years on the before your date,
Yeah, right.
and 10 years after. Is it the descent, what you're talking, is
Yes.
the 10 years?
Yes, that's the 10 years, the descent, and even longer, because I've got good and bad news for you. The good news is you're going to live long. The bad news is you're going to live long. So it's all wrapped into one.
How big is longevity in retirement now, the impact?
It's huge because, you know, I was talking to my wife yesterday, before I flew out here to meet with you, and I said, honey, statistically, you know, we're both in our early 70s. Statistically, one of us is going to live into our mid-90s. So our money has to last another 30 years, almost another 30 years.
Well, think about that. I just saw the actuarial from Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
They said the average male is 86.6,
Yeah.
the average female is 88.8, and the survivor of a marriage, that survivor will be age 93,
Right.
and that's the average. That means that half of America will be what?
Yeah.
Greater than that,
Yeah.
and probably female.
Now, I just wanted to cover this one more point. Is on this, what we talk about is on the left side, as you climb higher up the mountain, we get more tax efficient with your contributions. And on the descent here, when you withdraw your money and use your money, we get, as you climb that mountain, you get more tax efficient with your income being at the highest pinnacle here, tax exempt money for the
Okay,
rest of your life.
well, let me ask you this then. You know, I just saw this survey by Fidelity talking about how long-term care is such an expense load. But I wrote an article that said, I think that's true. It's very expensive,
Right.
but not anywhere near taxes during retirement.
It's correct.
How big is that nut that we have to spend just to satisfy Uncle Sam?
Yeah. Well, with 80,000 pages, that nut is very big because everything, virtually everything is in traditional, everything, the traditional planning that people do. There's taxation of almost everything that you do, all your qualified plan money, all your IRA money, all your investable money, gains, dividends, all of that's taxable. Social Security is taxable. So so you're not going to be able to get out of the tax ringer with that 80,000 pages working against you.
I know this is a kind of a generic question, but Peter, on average, for the people that you deal with, you see their retirement as it is. By the time you're done, what kind of tax savings are you talking about? Are you freeing up 10%, 15% a month, 20% a month? Do you have any gauge on that?
I haven't quite looked at it from that perspective, but my gut reaction would be almost 50%.
Half?
Yeah, yeah.
So you could save a client, if they're willing to be tax managed during retirement, you may be all the way up to half of the money that they're sending Uncle Sam could be returned to their pocket.
Yes, correct.
Well, that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
I'd say that's huge.
But these are the kind of questions that we ask business owners. When do you want to retire? We need a date.
Do they know?
Most of them have an idea, but they're very wishy-washy about it. Well, maybe, maybe not, maybe. And then how much do you need to retire on? Well, none of them have done that calculation. And do you have enough assets? Well, they don't know that answer too. And one of the bigger questions I usually ask, are you able to extract the full value of your company or practice when you retire?
Okay, now that's not valuating your company. That's not doing an evaluation.
No.
That's how much can you extract from it.
Extract from it.
But that's we'll have to do a whole show on that, I think. You know, one of these.
We do it. And then who's going to be your buyer? A family member, a key employee group, which we call a KEG, or a business partner, or you're going to do a third-party sale. And each one of those requires a different technique to minimize the taxation on the sale of that business.
Okay, so there's different approaches and methodologies depending upon family, key employee, or third-party outsider.
That's correct.
Wow.
Here's a very small example. Now, I don't want to get too granular, too detailed, but this is a business selling for $4 million. You can see up here. So this was an actual family case that we did, selling the business for $4 million. The dad needed the money, about $4 million, to sell to the kids. $4 million. So it takes a total cash of $7 million. So out of $7 million, dad only nets $3.8 million out of the sale.
Not good.
Yeah, so who gets the difference between $7 million of total cash and $3 million after the sale was settled?
Our great uncle.
Our great uncle, the IRS. If we reconfigure that structure and we bring in what we call supplemental retirement program, and the reason we talk about supplemental retirement programs is because I know that every business I've been involved in, and I'm sure it may be true in your business and most of the business owners, I remember those days when I worked 70, 80 hours and I didn't get paid. I remember those days when my employees got paid. I remember those days when I had to borrow money to keep the practice going. So there's a whole lot of time in our lives that where we're running our practices and our businesses that we didn't get paid for the time and effort we put in. That's called sweat equity. The company technically owes you money in retirement for the time and effort you put in and didn't get paid for. So we quantify that for our clients, and that becomes a liability to the company. And so they pay me a supplemental retirement program. That reduces the value of the company. But look what it does when I get, so I'm gonna still net the same $3.8 million, but it only takes my son $5 million. He only has to have $5 million of cash. I have saved the client in this transaction almost $2 million in taxes to help this client leave the business and leave it to his children. And I would submit to you that it's a lot easier to buy someone out for $5 million than versus $7 million.
I'd say that number I like. Yeah. Listen, don't forget to watch our next segment on the process of timing, combining, and sequencing, part 2 in our series on tax-efficient retirement planning for business owners. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on the show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or of course, maybe Peter as your financial advisor. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name